Now I remembered yesterday while trying to get this Dart inspected why I kind of stopped driving it. And there was about 4 reasons. The radiator was going out, so I bought a new radiator, never installed that. The wipers never functioned well enough to drive. The defroster never worked, no AC. And the carburetor was filling up the car with gas while you drove it. It just stunk all get out. So that wiper's not working. So I did find the complete arms, another one of these that's exactly like what's on the car, which is really weird because these holes look like they match, but that looks like it, instead of that being nice and flush on the firewall, that would stick out over above your engine, which is kind of weird, but that's really light. Maybe they came up with a better design. That's really heavy, but none of the controls would match up to that style. So I'm just going to put that back, take that, because I can order this from O'Reilly for about 90 bucks if I have to get a new one. Okay, it looks like I have a 3-speed washer switch, and I disconnected the little clip, and that's the motor. So that's speed 1, speed 2, speed 3, and park. So interesting. I don't understand. So that means it's this business that's jacked up. And sure enough, I cannot move those suckers, which is really weird. So I guess that's why the motor can't move it. What I've decided is this is a potential fire hazard. This has a bunch of exposed wires on this motor, and even though it's working and I got it working, I don't think it's worth the 90 bucks to not go ahead and replace it with one that doesn't have exposed wire. You know, you got gasoline right here, and I guess, you know, anything could catch on fire, but one less potential fire hazard shorting out right there. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and replace it. Alright, that wire that I thought was over here was not actually the wire. It's actually this brown wire. Comes around and goes to the windshield washer pump, which is another potentially fire hazard, which is shorting out on the metal in here. So now we got this wiring harness that really going to have to probably be rewired, but I think I have this where I can pull it out of there now. Alright, I was just doing a video and they said that these were all interchangeable, but this little pin gets moved around for each type of car. So I found some for 50 bucks. I'm going to order those. The problem is this contraption here are very expensive. They want like big money for these, like I want to say a couple $100. So we got to make these work. I got one working. The ones in the car work, but they need to be oiled, so we'll oil them. Alright, I ordered this motor. It's for a Monaco, and the peg is marked over here for a Dart. It's either there or there, can't remember. I'm going to move it to right there for now. So I'm kind of nervous. Looks like I need to undo this, give it some more slack for the electrical, and undo these 3. And kind of curious to peek under this lid, see what's in there, but just have to be careful. Okay, I see another couple things. This piece can't be over here. It has to be locked over to that spot, and this thing has to be locked up against that. So that allows that to sit down in there flush right there. And the gasket needs to be clocked right on there. Okay, this is the 72 3-speed wiper, and the thing that I got was the kit, and the kit has a grease cert, so I drilled those out, and those have been greased up. They're ready to roll. That kit came with this wiper kit. That's part number. I don't know if that's the part number, but anyway, that's the wiper kit. and it basically come with the new seals that go there, the seals that go on this part, and the little grease cert, which you probably could have got somewhere else, but it came as a kit. So this is all the plastic bushings. There's 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to put the new ones on, and the other 2 pieces, I don't know if they'll fit, but I have those in the car. This, I ordered those, which is the wrong part. This is for the 76 Plymouth, and it has a different type of wiper arm which uses those buttons. So I had ordered them first, and then looking at this, I realized those not going to work. So this one needs to be reassembled with spare parts, and then I'll have a second one. I got all these working. They were frozen up, and I did the same thing. I just drilled a little hole in there and just kept greasing them and lubing them up so they would work. Well, lubing them. So I have a second set that I'm going to use with all my old parts to build that one for backup. This is going to be the one I'm going to use in the car that was in the car, and then move on to this electric motor. Word of warning, do not take this end of the motor apart. I did, and this main green wire goes into the end here, and when you take that off, you can't get those bushing springs back on there. I ended up breaking that wire, so this one don't work anymore. This is notched for the dart. Each one of these positions, one there, one there, one there, and there, and there, and this one came clear over there for the Monaco. So when I got this one, that little thing was over there, so I did the video about adjusting that. So basically, I'm not excited to where I clipped those wires. I should have just ordered a new one of these and those parts, but it just kept adding up to more money. This was $52 for this motor, and so basically some butt connectors and not spending any more money. That was $20. This kit was $25. Bushing set, AB body, 2-speed wipers. So it's definitely for a 3-speed wiper, but you still need those bushings. And I'm thinking we'll check the other plastic things, but I think all those parts will work too. So that's all of that. I need to go get the connectors and seal that back up. Okay, I'm going to do one of these on film. I'm going to cut these 2 shorter so when I stack these up, they don't not a big ball of these in one spot. So I'm going to have to have a good pair of wire cutters. This has cutters on here, but they don't ever work. It's got a space in there, and then you're going to have to figure out which one of these holes to use to strip the wire. But get you a good pair of wire cutters. I'm going to cut them a little bit shorter. And use this tool to strip them. Goes on the tiniest one, and not quite a half an inch. These are getting old, so they're not working very good. They're not very sharp anymore. I want to cut a little better. That's about the right length. Twist them a little bit, and we're going to put the bullet ones on there. So when you put these bullet ones in there, I'll go inside that little hole, and they're going to go all the way up in there where the plastic, so you can actually see the wire. So the wire is extending up in there a little bit, and you use that part to pinch that. I usually try to do it in 2 places. That won't come off. That's on there pretty daggone good. Let's do the other one. I'm going to do all 4 of them with these bullet ends, so if I get confused, get mixed up, or they got a switch to a different wire, we can just switch them instead of being all stuck. I'm not sure if I'm getting that on video, but the wire's sticking out, so we know that that's up in there real good. Alright, my goal for this was to make it as slim as possible, because that's the way it looks factory. So you have this big old nodule there, people know something's up. So we're going to test it, and the reason why we're going to test it, oh, we forgot two things. One, this is missing the bushing. So I either have to rob this one or get one from the 2-speed motor. So we're going to check that out, see if we need to pull that off of there, because that's part of this, where this has the little buttons. So right now this isn't clocked right, so we need to plug this in and put it on park and see if that moves around to the park position. So we're going to check that out. They got to match up before we get the party started. This got to be over here, and that's got to be over there. All right, I'm not ready to put that on there, but we're going to plug that into the electrical over there, and that really gives away what color the original car was. But now would be the time to clean any of this off if you wanted it cleaned up. Now I tried to plug this in, tried to test it, but it's not grounded, so it won't work. So I'm actually going to have to bolt it to the firewall, then look up under there and make sure that spins around there. Alright, another problem. This had little metal bushings in there. So when I put it up there, it was bushing on bushing and would not go in the, it would go in there, but then the bushing's sitting on the bushing. So I had to take the bushings out and just use the rubber grommets. Alright, it was just easier to pull those off and put them in there first. So let's give that a try. Okay, that's the park position. So get down in here. That's the park position. It's tweaked a little bit in the up position, which is exactly the same. It's straight across, but tweaked a little bit to the thing. So that's what I'm looking at there. Tweaked exactly the same. So now we got it. We got the switch is kind of jinky. That's slow. That's medium. That's high. No! Okay, well, not sure what happened there. My switch is either ate up all my battery power, so I think the battery is just too dead to run that motor. So let's go charge the battery up, and then we'll double check I hadn't blown a fuse or something. Well, that was short-lived. Turned the key on, played with the switch. It was kind of jinky on the park and first place. Ran it for a few minutes, and then it just stopped right in the middle of things. I put a new battery on there, so I'm not sure what's wrong with it now. Could be the switch. Back to the drawing board. Alright, I'm out here at the dart graveyard where I saved all this stuff from the darts that I scrapped. And I've already gone through these, found a 2-speed wiper motor, found the little clips that I had for the carburetor to hold on the kick down, found a carb spring, found 2 of these, but I think these are for a newer year model. I think those are the ones with the pop on, because they not even the same shape. So that one is. So we'll take these with us, and then we'll put all the extras together in one spot when we're done. And we'll be going through this right now. That's one wiring harness. Didn't find nothing on there, but this looks more like mine. mud dauber. That's a whole section of rear tail lights. A mud dauber stuck to the floor high-low beam. And a headlight switch. Why no wiper switch? That is very, very strange. Alright, I'm going to put this down so I can cry a little bit. See if I can find it. Okay, I guess now I know why I'm not finding the switch in there, because the switch is part of this. So what's really weird is I've done some repairs on this one, not very good repairs, but that's a 2-speed switch. It doesn't have the big old nodule connect to it, even though it probably bolts up. So I could take that switch and try it. And the other thing that's not working is the gas gauge, and I'm pretty sure that there is the fuse for the gas gauge. So I'm not sure what that came off of. To me, that looks like I zeroed it out and got no miles on it. So maybe I rebuilt that one to use for later, and there it sits. But that's a pretty nice unit right there. I'd like to take that. I'm sure there's some reason that I didn't use it. It's got to be something different. Here's another 2-speed switch one, and it's got some more interesting stuff on it for resistors. 2-speed switch. So maybe I'll take out this 2-speed switch, take it with me just as a test unit. What a shame. I know I have one more 3-speed unit, but I wish I could find. I should have 3 switches for 3-speed. Well, this is the result of the Harvey flood. That's the Edelbrock intake air cleaner that I had, and I put the used one in this box. Well, it was sitting over there on the floor, and Harvey came, and water got about 6 inches in this garage. So anything that was on the ground got wet. So thank you, Harvey. Alright, that's my keep pile. Starter, lots of pieces. I put all the nuts and bolts in there. Got my trash pile, got my take back to the house pile. That's pretty handy to have in the center console, that dart. The wiper, I found 2 more, but those are for the 76 2-speed. So I got one more place to look for the switch. That's wrapped up in that blue thing, and that's the last dash that came out of that other 2-speed, the other dart, the 72 dart. All right, here we go, the unveiling of the beast. Everybody scream! Ah! And there's another 3-speed switch. So we got this nasty dash that I saved, and all the electrical just for this purpose. When you have a thing, there's a lot of good pieces off there. So let me pull that switch off. We'll take it with us. Okay, I can't get these parts off. Don't have a tool. It needs a wrench. Can't get the clip. Everything's kind of rusted. So I need some more patience to get this apart. So I'm just going to take the whole thing with me. I got my truck here. Just going to take this whole contraption, and then I can work on it when I have a little more patience. Okay, I'm testing this new switch. Key's in the on position and it's off. But this switch has to be grounded to the dash, and I'll show you. If I operate this, it will not turn off. Just hanging here. But if I touch it to this, it will ground. And if I touch this piece to the dash, it'll ground and go in backwards and shut it off. So here's 1, 2, 3, and then back to park while it's running. So if I ground it to, and there it went to park. So this has to be grounded in this dash up here, because this dash is grounded. It has to be grounded in there for it to work. So I'm going to test the one that I thought was the broken switch and plug it in, do the same thing, and see if that other switch works. The one that I pulled, that's the one I pulled out this morning. Okay, so this is the switch that I took out. I thought was bad. The motor is parked right now. Key is in the on position. So if I ground this to the dash, that's fast, that's medium, that's slow, and that's reverse to park. Boom, in the right place. So that means that this dash is probably not getting a good ground. So I may have to take a ground wire from here and run it to the back of this dash somewhere. So that's what I'm gonna have to figure out, because I know everything works now. I know the motor works, I know it parks, I know the switch works. Now it's just a matter of making sure that it works when it's in there and grounded. Okay, I took a screwdriver and opened up that hole. I took that screwdriver in there. That hole was real small. I don't see where the little piece is, but it was tiny. And what I know is this has to be able to do that on that shaft right there. This piece is going to be pivoting inside there. So I made mine. I saw another video where the guy had put his on there, and he had to really fight that son of a gun to get it on there. So with that, reaming that out, I can't do it with one hand. Oh, I did it with one hand. See, that's gonna be against the car, and that's gonna be turning like that. So that's why I reamed it out. I thought that other one was gonna be way too tight, not be able to pivot on there. So that's what I did. Put the goo, the plastic. Now I'm gonna work on these little plastic pieces and lube them up so new and put them on there. All right, the secret to getting these off and on is to put that clip on first and then push this on there. So that's on there now. Don't try to push this off first, because it won't go through the hole. First, pop this off underneath the plastic, which I can't do with one hand. Sorry about that. Okay, did it with one hand. So that comes off, then push this through, or you'll break all those little plastic things, because it can't go over that knob and go through this thing at the same time. So then grease this up, do it in reverse. Put that on here first and then pop it on there. Otherwise you'll break the little tabs off. Okay, I'm gonna try to video with not moving so much. First, pop this off, then push this out. Otherwise you'll break these little fingers, because it can't make it over this bumple and out of that first. Then pop that back in there and then put the assembly back on there. Otherwise you'll break those little spring teeth. All right, I'm going to do this one on video. First, pop it off the back. Pretty easy. Then take this thing, put a little bit of pressure on it, push those in a little bit, get the party started, and there, that'll come out, and then you can save that on the other project over there. I'll put copious amounts of grease on this bar here, because that's what's going to be spinning, is on that piece right there. Okay, and we go in reverse and put that through the hole. I don't know if that's going through there. There you go, that's clipped in there. And then you take this thing and push it down onto there. There you go. So pretty easy once you know how to get them on there. So now we got brand new plastic pieces. We got everything brand new. We got these greased and the pivots. We got a new motor. So now I'm ready to go put this on, and hopefully I got it all right and we'll be good to go. Okay, I recommend starting on this side. You can move these things around and get the bolt. There's one bolt there. The other bolt is right there. It's not focusing, but I'm kind of laying here under the steering wheel, and I have a 13 ratcheting that seemed to work pretty good. But I started on this side first because it's the hardest, and then we can hopefully put this up in there without having any other issues. So that looks like that was a pain. You have to take your finger and assist that rubber bushing. It's too fat to go in this hole. So you literally have to pack it up in there, which what I'm doing with one hand. It's really hard to get that to go in the hole, to go up in there. So I got it started, but that's retarded. They made that bushing too fat. But anyway, you got to get that in there. And also my grease cert is on the wrong side. It needs to be on the fat side because you'll never be able to grease that there. And it almost didn't fit the tool. Almost didn't fit where that nut was. That would have been sad to just have to take that grease cert out. But live and learn. Now you know from my mistake to put it on the wider side. Okay, that one was easy enough to do right there. This one fit right there. So that's done. Now all I gotta do is see now that works. Now all we gotta do is reattach this piece over here. So those are all working perfect like new. So now we gotta figure out this motor piece and see if the plastic piece fits, and then we'll put that on there. Well, it may be hard to see. That hole's at the bottom and that hole's at the top. This kit was supposed to be for a 2-speed motor. So I don't know if I should try that on there. Because the thing is, when you put those wipers on, you can put them on there. You can put them on here. I can't see it. So you can put them on here at any rotation. So I'd kind of like to try it. Pretty easy to take off and on. Okay, the only thing to make it work properly is to make sure that is grounded to the dash, because as long as I hold this switch piece right here up to the dash, it gets a ground and it actually works. And that's all hooked together right. Okay, what I definitely don't like is they probably sell a tool to tighten this down, but that has to be Superman tight because that's where the ground is attached to the thing there, the dash. Okay, so the key's on. That's slow. And park. Okay, so let's watch the wheel. Okay, that is park. That is slow, medium, and large. Medium, slow, and back to fancy park. That's crazy how it does that, but anyway, there you go. I'm gonna put the blades back on. Well, last 2 years I was smart enough to put anti-seize up in there. so they didn't get frozen on there. So that's what I'm going to do this time, so they don't get all frozen up. That's the final video clip for the windshield washers. I juked the switch and it actually popped off the arm coming from the main motor to that side, so it works from here over to that one and that one back over to the center one. So that's interesting to know. So I'm going to turn on the key and we are going to put it on speed 1. Ooh, speed 2, speed 3, which going way over there. We need to fix that. And park. So we need to move those down a click. But that's my final video for that.